Shalom, everybody. We need to get some clothes on that bear. He is kind of naked. This doesn't make sense for a seamstress to have a naked bear. I feel like we should start with a hat. Not that he's getting any UV rays, because it's actually quite cold lately. We've had an unseasonably warm winter in Israel, as I've been telling you. Cold really struck us right after Hanukkah. And so out come the leather jackets. So it's a good thing I fixed those bomber jackets last week that I shared with you, and the motorcycle jacket. But now I have my own jacket to take care of. So speaking of animals, including Mr. Bear here, we're not going to go out and end families of animals just for our own thrill seeking. However, if it is already, as I understand it, that leather like this is not specifically skin from an animal just for the purpose, this is a byproduct. And I know that there are also a lot of viewers who are opposed to eating meat. I honestly tried that for a couple of years, and I actually put myself in a lot of danger because my protein was dangerously low. I'm sure there are people who do it better than I did. I did not do it right, and I got very, very sick, and I am not doing that anymore. So for right now, I'm doing animal protein, and I'm sure a lot of viewers are, because there's a thriving market. In the meantime, why am I, if you're going to have a jacket, do leather instead of plastic? Because as I understand it, plastic is not biodegradable. Leather is. I know it because I've seen it. And I have actually a leather jacket that I found in the garbage, like I told you about here in Israel, people who think there's something good. It's very 80s, it's very out of fashion, but it's a very high quality brand from Europe. And so I'm sure that's why they set it on the dumpster, and I found it, and it's very not in style. So I'm not going to take it to the thrift store as is, even though the leather has some life in it. The jacket does not. It's apparent to me that the zipper's been replaced a couple times, whatever. That's another story for another video. But our project today is my jacket. And I bought this jacket quite a few years ago, and it was in such perfect condition that I also mentioned during the thrift haul in the parking lot, I whined a little bit about being a petite. And so I'm not a super small person, but I am a petite person, so my arms are not super long. So this is what happens when you have a jacket that the arms are too long, right? But it was such beautiful construction and so well done, and it had like some kind of glossy overlay that I didn't want to mess with it when I got it. Even though it needed about this much taken off, I just didn't do it because it was much firmer. Since then, not in this building, but I had a neighbor once who had a ferret or a cat problem, I'm not sure what, but it came through the vents. This jacket, because of being leather, absorbed the odor. I do not recommend you do this, you know, follow your own care instructions. I bought it on sale, so I felt comfortable with the risk. So I turned it inside out and washed it in the washing machine, and it came out just fine. And this is not from that, this is from later use. Because of that whatever sheen polishing material it had on it, it's gone. And it also became more supple. It became really nice. So I really like that. It's fine leather and it's top quality, but it's not the top grain. And so what am I going to do about this? So on the outer part of your hand, there's a little bone that pops out. It's really cute. Well, this should touch that. It could be a little bit like a quarter inch down, a quarter inch up, but that's about standard. Why? Because when you lift your arm, your sleeve will raise, but not so much that it looks bizarre or makes your arms cold. And when your arms are extended, it's not so far down that it hangs over your hand. Now, if you're trying to go for the Nirvana, grungy, sweaters down to my knuckles look, that's great. That's on purpose. But standard, like jacket, and this style kind of goes with that. It's a little bit like, you know, a tailored jacket. I could have done it properly, cut it here right where it's ruining, and then tucked it in. But what's my problem? Because I'm a petite, the beautiful lining that it has inside is really almost too long. They made a very generous lining in here. What is that for? For different people of different weights. If you fill out the sleeve, the lining will shrink up, no problem. But if you don't fill out the sleeve, on me it fits comfortably. It's not tight, but it's not loose. It's just comfortable. Well then, every time I put my arm in the sleeve, the lining comes right to the edge, which wasn't great anyway in the beginning, but is really problematic if I'm going to pull this back. So originally I was going to just cut it and put it inside. Why am I not going to do that? Because I'm going to keep wearing this out. First of all, it looks a little bulky, so I would really have to cut the leather. And I thought I could do some other things with the leather, make it trim or something, I don't know. But I thought a more efficient way to work here, to give it 2 repairs instead of one I have to think ahead, is I started it already, and then I thought of you guys later, I'm sorry. So I flipped it and just made a cuff. And originally, you can see the one stitch. I was just going to tighten it here and tighten it at the other seam right there and see if it held up. But because of my washing machine adventure several years ago, it's now so supple, it didn't just hold. I could steam it and try to hold it in place, but I don't want to wreck the leather. So I tried to do it with just the 2 tacking points. That didn't work. So that means I'm going to have to sew all the way around. So what did I do? I sewed all the way around, but while I'm doing it, guess what I'm doing? I'm catching that lining and pulling it up. That way I don't have to cut the lining, I don't have to re-sew it, I don't have to mess with it. And it's not laziness, it's really just efficiency. I'm trying to do the least intrusive action possible. So with each stitch I'm going in and I'm catching a little bit of the cuff on the other side. Let's see if we can show you. You can barely see it, hopefully, because that's the idea. See there, you can see the first few because I was starting to get the hang of it. And then once I got the hang of it, they're really invisible. You can see mini stitches, but they're not really sticking out. This little part didn't get done. There's like one little right there where my finger is. And I'm debating whether to do it, whether to leave it. It doesn't bother me. It's still staying close to where it needs to stay without having to damage the fabric anymore. I think it's fine. I think I'm going to leave it that way. So here, this was, I think I was cleaning or something and had the jacket on, which was dumb, but what are you going to do? So by turning it over, it's obviously not going to disappear, but it's less noticeable in my eyes. And now I have a new cuff I can wreck, and once I'm really done wrecking that, I can still loosen it, cut here, and then turn it over like I originally thought of. And if I have any kind of stitch marks that I need to get rid of, because now I'm piercing holes into the leather, really ribbon was my biggest idea, was to put a good grosgrain ribbon and make it sort of a nice detail. I also want to point out, I am using a drugstore needle, and I do this on purpose in these videos. I have seen videos where people extol the value of some expensive needle from some fancy company. I'm sure they're all very lovely, but I promise you that Picasso could have done just the same level of artwork. Well, not at the end. He actually was embarrassed and couldn't show for his artwork. Let's pick another example. Da Vinci could do the same with a rock and a sidewalk. I think I can't get this needle to show up on here. There you go. If you know what you're doing and you take your time, look, this finger. Now this one, I have to agree with the people who extol the virtues of a thimble. I'm not a big thimble person because I really want control. But when I was doing the motorcycle jacket, I bit the dust on that one. And it wasn't just that I pierced my skin, I actually bruised my skin from pushing so hard on the needle. It was very hard. I don't think I made a video about that one. If you want to see the details on that, you'll have to go to my Instagram. Esosike, it's in the description. But yeah, he kind of had a rough time. So much so that it's a little bit swollen and didn't fit into the gloves I made. Aww. We have, oh man, this is not working. Camera on wheels. Woo! A little busy. Ideally, I'll show, oh, my hands look a wreck. This video does not require me doing a modeling show, so I'm not going to do it. And I know the garbage truck is giving you all kinds of beautiful urban ASMR in the background, but we got to do what we got to do here. Let's not cut little bear's head off. That's not